information that was recently acquired. I first wanted to talk about what we call the taxpayer rights, the taxpayer bill of rights, and there's 10 items. And most importantly, I'm not going to go over everything. I want to keep this as brief as possible. But you have a right to privacy and confidentiality, and I have a big concern today about that. I don't know who's on this call. If somebody could tell me, is the public on this phone call?
Yeah, it's a public entity, so regardless of what the report by Nevada open meeting law, it would have to be public anyway.
Well, I'm hearing a lot of background noise, excuse me, but if the public's on this call, I really don't want to move forward. My manager's calling in now. If he gives me permission, but again, for your rights as privacy and confidentiality, I am not comfortable sharing this information with you just because of your rights. This is between your entity and the IRS, and no one else has a right to know this information. So you say the entire public could be on this call. They're all welcomed and open to the meeting.
Even if individuals were not listening in live, it's a recorded and public meeting posted to the public. And this is not an agenda item. We'll defer to our counsel to weigh in on this, please. Thank you.
It's not an agenda item, but it's a public agency, so there is public present. Although you're stating that it's between the IRS and the public agency, things of this public nature are open to the public comment. It was an agenda item, if we want to put it on an agenda, but it's just a report from you and report from the executive director. So if you don't feel comfortable moving forward, I won't tell you to, but it's a public meeting.
Yes, I cannot disclose any private information to anyone who's not an employee of the entity. Now, if I had forms from every individual, releasing, you giving them authority to talk to them about this information, that's different. Now we have another issue. I understand it's being recorded. We have procedures for that too. If I was notified prior to this, there's procedures we need to follow for that.
So I'm going to interrupt you really quick. It sounds as though this presentation today is premature. We don't have, you're not prepared on your end based on the IRS Bill of Rights to make this presentation. So I guess we could just pause right here. We could conceivably.
I am fully prepared.
No. I know you're prepared, but this doesn't sound like the forum to do so based on what you're stating. So, and I'm going to defer to my colleagues on the board. Would we like to hear in general terms, either from the gentleman from the IRS or from Mr. Herron, what the issues were relative to our 1099 reporting and the alignment of the EIN numbers to the 1099 reportings? Would that be worthwhile to hear in generality so we know what the issues are, or should we just park this for a future discussion altogether?
This is Tick. Could I ask, is it critical that we hear this today? Because it sounds like we just need to work out some logistics.
It sounds like it, absolutely. So can we do this on a later date, Mr. Williams?
Yes, we can. We will reconvene with Carl and figure out.
Okay.
To our
Now,
legal.
And Carl,
if you want to have a separate meeting just with the board members, I'm willing to do that.
Yeah.
But I am not going to disclose.
No,
any
Carl, I just
information
want to tell you, Carl, that we really appreciate you carving out some time to be with us today. We're going to go ahead and end this discussion at this time in this forum at this public Board of Commissioners meeting at the Housing Authority, and we'll let you communicate with Mr. Herron, Mr. Williams, and we'll determine the best course of action to move forward so we can do this in the appropriate manner. Is that okay? We thank you so much for your time today.
One second. Dwayne, are you on the call?
Yeah, my name is Dwayne Jacobs. I'm the manager of Carl Chavez, and we're fine with that.
Okay.
We will reconvene at a time after Carl and Mr. Herring get together and set up the forum at that juncture, and then he can fill you in on the information that he's received, Mr. Herring. and then we'd be more than happy to call back at a different time with the board or people that run the housing authority that have the authority to bind them on behalf of our
Okay.
reports.
Well, thank you so much, Dwayne, for that clarification, and Carl for your time, and we'll look forward to hearing from you at a later date. Thank you, gentlemen, so much.
Thank you.
Well, best wishes.
Take
Keep
care.
safe,
Yes,
guys.
thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so now we're going to officially
Mr.
close
Chair.
item number 9 on our agenda.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Shaw.
To our legal counsel, is this an item that would qualify for a closed hearing? Closed board meeting?
I would have to look into it and get back to you on that before our next board meeting. I can do that.
We've got some time now to sort it out, though, so I think we're good.
Yeah, I know Mahogany said she had to look, we looked into it and no, I mean, our tax records are open to the public, so.
Well, my only concern is if it's involving EIN numbers of vendors that we use, then those probably don't need, I'd be very concerned about having those disclosed to the public.
No, those, the vendor IDs wouldn't be used in the report that we have.
Okay.
It was, in summary, the report is, the agency just making sure, particularly with vendors that, are not in the United States, making sure that we get the proper tax ID and withhold, proper tax. And it was just a report that I thought that the board needed to be aware of and how we are correcting that and the fines and fees that the agency has to pay, as a result of that discovery. And it was less than a 0.01% error rate that we were doing. So I just thought it was important for the board to know before I paid the bill. That's all.
No, thank you for that. And I think the report really just should be comprised of generalities and what we did wrong, what we learned from it, and what we're going to do to course correct it so we don't incur another $28,000 fine and abatement. So I think that's really all we need, and in the future we can do that without violating anyone's Bill of Rights.
Yeah, I'll have
Or-
Isabel just draft up
And also, it could be something where we could have a closed session like we do with personnel matters, at least hear it and then go forward.
Okay, all right, thank you. Item number 10, identify emerging issues to be addressed by the board and executive.
Mr. Chairman, one more.
Sorry. Can you tell I'm excited about number 10? I'm really just digging for that one because it's the last one on the agenda. So,
Who handles our audit, and did they coordinate this tax IRS audit?
Rector and Reed handle our audits, but no, that wasn't coordinated. That was as a result of a trigger system that the IRS receives, and then they decided to
And
do it.
have we talked to our auditors about the potential of them working with the IRS to waive this fee?
No, we haven't, but we significantly waived the fee down to where it had started. I don't have that number, and yeah, it was 700,000, and we got it all the way down to 28,000.
Okay. And
But yeah, we can get.
I mean, obviously, I think that our auditors have some responsibility here. They should have looked at this. So,
Yeah. So I guess this is a failed attempt in transparency on my part, but that was the reason. I just wanted to be transparent. But we will get with general counsel and the IRS and figure it out. I just think it's something the board should know, but I'll figure out the proper, channel to do that.
all right, number 10, all right. Identify emerging issues to be addressed by the board and executive director at future meetings, receive updates on activities of the executive director, and direct executive director accordingly. So we'll go ahead and start with Mr. Williams to see if he has anything, and if not, we'll go to the board members and talk about any things that are on your mind that we need to be discussing or evaluating or learning about in future meetings. Do you have anything for us, Mr. Williams?
Yes, I just want to get a board update. I know last month I informed the board that we were going to pause our process in the redevelopment of Marble Manor. I had a discussion with Brent Shore a couple of weeks ago. We've internally, myself and the team have come up with a process that we think we'll be able to at least start the community charrettes virtually. and have Brenshaw and the Housing Authority start meeting with key stakeholders so that at least we can start the process and keep the momentum going. And then whenever we fully get to a phase 3 or a phase 4, we'll be sometime next year we'll be have larger group meetings. But I think to continue to move forward Marble Manor, we figured out a plan to do that. Second, the Wardell Street Townhomes development is going well. In fact, we will be opening the waiting list for those units in the next few weeks. I've tasked our Director of Development Modernization, Frank Stafford, to begin, and our procurement manager to begin the RFP real estate development process for our Ernie Cragen site, which is vacated at the corner of 28th and Sunrise. And we're looking at a mixture of small multifamily, single family, mixed use, and we'll be contracting with one of our real estate brokers, Cushman and Wakefield, to acquiring the strip of land right next to Ernie Cragen so we can expand that and use that for residential and commercial. We also are in discussions with a building here in Ward 3 that Commissioner Diaz put us in contact with a minority developer in partnership with Jay Dapper that they want to do affordable housing, and we're looking to partner in ownership of that building to create 19 units of affordable housing here in downtown Las Vegas. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is that one of the things that has been consistent from the commissioners ever since I started, and I always tell my staff, I always think about the first meeting I had with Mr. Weekly about being out more in the community, and that's been followed up by Commissioner Diaz, Commissioner Black, Mr. Sigerboom, and we've made the reorganizational changes. But also, even though we improved our website, our social media presence needs to be up to par than what it was. I know the agency has been probably in a stagnant process 10 years prior to me coming here. But one of the things we think that's going to be creative is that starting next Monday at 10 p.m. on KCEP 88.1, 10:30 a.m., I will be hosting a Housing Authority radio show for participants and residents to call in. We will be using that. We thought about that because of the whole virtual distancing, notices being constrained in posting, and all the information only going on our website. And also an opportunity for residents to have a one-on-one discussion with the executive director. They always know I'll be there on right now the second and fourth Monday at 10:30 a.m. and they can call in. And so our first show, which Denise doesn't know, our new HCV director, she's going to be on the show, and we'll be talking about the administrative regulatory waivers that HUD received dealing with our Section 8 program. And we will be announcing on that radio show that after 12 years in discussions with HUD, and this is one of my biggest goals when I came here, is that we will be opening up the waiting list for local residents for Section 8 vouchers, stymieing the flow of porting in individuals over the past 12 years, which I have some philosophies which I can't explain here as a public official on that. But I just think it's important for local citizens who are here to have opportunities to participate in our Housing Choice Voucher Program. And it's something that I've been passionate about coming from a city of Washington, D.C. that's just seen significant gentrification. So I'm very passionate about that and how those individuals that will be served by that. And the waiting list will be opening the first week of July. That's my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Williams. We'll turn it over to the board for any items that you'd like to bring up for future discussion. We'll go to the folks that are that are calling in on video. Commissioner Weekly, Ms. Hooks, Commissioner Segerbloom, and Ms. Sharon Davis. If any of you have anything you'd like to share at this time, please do. All right, nothing from our colleagues on the coming to us through the information superhighway. Anyone here at the chambers? Mr. Shaw, Ms. Diaz, anything?
I'd just like to thank all of the staff at the different properties. I know that in my ward, we've been able to partner with some organizations to bring the residents food certain times a week. And they've been phenomenal in assisting the delivery, even door to door, for those that aren't coming to the food truck or whatever the case may be. That, it might be trying to remember. Credo was one of the organizations that did it for a few sites in Ward 3. But I know that the executive director has been very open and very amenable to outside organizations who want to give in a very trying time for our community. And he's put those connections together as best as possible to get meals, especially for the most vulnerable populations, right to their door. So I just want to put that out there publicly, that it is very, very much appreciated that you and your team are working with us so swiftly to give relief where relief is needed. And I know that we look forward to, we got some masks from the mask posse donated, and so we're looking to deliver some of those cloth masks as well. I think they've created over 5,000 and distributed to very many different folks that are in need. And what's unique about the Mask Posse is they're all folks who work the entertainment sector, and obviously they're out of work and they're hurting too. And but they're putting their hands to good use, and they're donating their time, their materials, and their energy to help us get through COVID-19. So look forward to that, and those are my two things. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you very much. If nothing else from the board, we will go to the final item on our agenda today, citizen participation. Items raised under this portion of the agenda cannot be deliberated or acted upon by the Board of Commissioners for the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority until the notice provision of the open meeting law have been complied with. If you wish to speak on matters not listed on the posted agenda, please step to the podium and clearly state your name for the record. If any member of the board wishes to extend the length of any speaker's presentation, we can do that. And all comments by speakers should be relevant to the Board of Commissioners of the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. Good afternoon.
Hi, my name is Doreen Austin, last name spelled ALSTON. I said 1818 Belzar and been in the Plaza Apartments. Okay, now we just heard that Ms. Burns is retiring at the end of June. Okay, I've been in the Plaza, we just started our council board, so then the COVID-19 went off and we have not completed this. Now we're hearing that she's retiring, and we haven't got no paper or notification letting us know that she's leaving, and what's gonna happen with us. Okay, and another thing is that you said that all this money that you're saying that we're getting, for retirement for our residents to be able to go different places, but they're saying that we have to raise this money in order to trot these buses, to probably take us to the casino, take us to a museum. We are like restricted to our place, okay, and it's me, I'm running for president, okay, so I have a lot of ideas. Okay, now you say the cameras. We have cameras all throughout our building, okay, but management's not looking at these cameras. They're looking for us to report to them what goes on in the building. Now, okay, they might say they was busy, but now they're restricted that we can only go to them by appointments. So what are they doing with the rest of the time? They have time to go through these cameras, let them know they can see what's going on in each of the floors. We only have like 4 sections. Come on now. They can't look through them. No, we want you to do it. We're not they squillies, okay? If I'm running for president, my job is my residents. When my residents come to me with complaints, I go to management. I'm not gonna sit up under management and tell them this person is staying there or that person is doing that. That's their job. I heard her say that that they have programs that's going to teach the employees, make them want to stay. How about teaching them how to go about doing their jobs? Because it's not my job to let them know that this person is staying there, that person is doing drugs, or that's not my job. That's their job. Okay, now, I heard about funding for maintenance. I guess just to uplift maintenance, because it's not to uplift the residents, the buildings, because they're not doing it. Our air ducts have not been changed. I've been there 5 years. And stuff is coming down the shafts. Okay, air ducts.
Thank you, Ms. Alston. Did I say your last name correctly, Alston?
Oh, yeah, that's my
So
time.
the time is up, but I just wanted to say that if you notice here, Ms. Robinson has taken extensive notes as you speak. And I just wanted to tell you, as the chairman of the board, how I appreciate your commitment to the resident council. I think there's great value in that if we all work together and commit to that effort. So thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Thank you. Next time I'll finish it.
Okay, to
Thank
be
you.
continued. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hi, Ms. Patton.
Hi, Mr. Black. Hey, Chad. Whiting Patton, Jamestown Towers. I just have two things I want to say today. Okay, we have bug spraying in the building. They only spray the apartments. You're defeating the purpose. You're not spraying the halls. You're not spraying the outside of the building. Okay, you don't spray all the floors at one time. James Towers has 4 floors. You're spraying 2 floors. You're defeating the purpose. You're wasting the money. Second thing, it's well and good about the kids and things. Jamestown Towers is mainly seniors. You've taken away the chairs, the tables, the TVs. You tell us to stay in. You got these teeny tiny apartments. You're being confined. So, and I think it's unfair that you did that. We're grown. We know how to self-distance ourselves. Second, you took away the TV. Okay. Now, what are you supposed to do? Some residents don't have TV. Some residents don't have cable. They can't afford it. The TV in the community room is cable. They can go out there and look at it. But I think it's unfair that you're taking away their privileges. A lot of them can't drive. Some of them are in electric chairs and all this here. But I think they're being sadly mistreated. And the third thing, we had a girl in the office who spoke Spanish. They took her away. You have Jamestown Towers is a whole bunch of Spanish-speaking people. So how are they going to communicate with the office and get their needs met? I don't speak Spanish. I have neighbors talk to me every day in Spanish, and I keep telling them I don't speak Spanish. I speak English. I don't tell her, I'll just say, okay, okay, okay. I don't know what she's saying, but I'm agreeing with what she's saying. But I think it's really sad that you're talking about you giving these things to other people, but the seniors at Jamestown is not getting anything. If anything, they're getting it taken away from them, their livelihood. Thank you.
Thank you, Wadeen. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Frankie Jones, Jamestown Tower. I want to say first, thank you for handling the situation I had with the rent a few months back. That was handled somewhat fairly, so I want to thank you for that. I also want to stand here for the seniors at Jamestown Tower. There are a lot of seniors that are depressed. I'm on the 4th floor. There are a lot of seniors. I spoke exclusively with 2 who will be nameless that are saying they're going through depression because of this COVID. They used to go downstairs, like Wadeen was saying, and sit, able to watch TV, able to, interact a little bit. And we were safely social distancing there before the chairs were removed. Getting together safely, mask, sanitizer, spacing. There are seniors there that are starving, that are hungry, that are without water. I mean, what is it to bring in a case of water? I'm not speaking for myself, I'm okay, but there are elderly there that can't get out. There are several there that, since I have a water system, delivered, where I'm filling up their water for them or taking a plate, and these things need to be addressed because they're unable to get out, and they're starving. And I think it's very sad that, a lot of them don't have representation of family. A lot of them, they're there and trying to make do. But since this is HUD owned, I feel like someone should be representing them. Someone should come in and check on those that are elderly that can't get out. Someone should be coming in and bringing water in, bringing food in for those that can't, prepare, or, even if it's a sandwich, that's better than nothing, and the problem with, I do want to address the elevator. I've been living there for about a year and 3 months, roughly. The elevators have broke down. This will be the 57th time today. The elevators are out of service from 12 to 2 today. There are seniors that, God forbid anything happen, myself included, because I have a knee replacement, but I can get down the stairs, and that shouldn't be. There's always a Band-Aid put, never the ACE bandage, the big one that prepares and takes care of everything. Little bandages put on that elevator. That breakdown, I think, is too extensive and should be addressed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Nona Lawrence. I'm an attorney with Nevada Legal Services. We're a nonprofit legal aid center that assists low-income individuals with housing issues that they may be having. We primarily, most of our clients are Section 8 and Section 42 recipients. We would like the Commission to know that previously we had a very good working relationship with the Housing Authority. We had, good back and forth. We would be able to get any documents that we may need to assist these clients. Since the closure and the reopening of the Housing Authority, we have not been able to receive one document, not one HAP contract, no leases, not even a return email, a return phone call. We're not sure, we know that they're inundated here with everything that happened with COVID, and we do want to work together. We're just not sure what's happening. We're not sure if there's a reorganization or how we're supposed to go about procuring those documents to assist these recipients. We foresee that without the documents, any documents that we need, we'd have to send the clients here, which would make more human contact, which we kind of don't want right now. It would also be more work for the caseworkers here. We'd also have to continue eviction hearings, which we don't want to do if we can't get those documents, or we may have to proceed to formal evictions if we're never able to get those. So if there's a new procedure, we're happy to comply with it. We just don't know at this point what is happening at the Housing Authority and how we're supposed to be doing that. We were told before the closure, Ebony Bell previously had been wonderful getting us our documents. We were told that we were to ask Denise Watson, which we have done. I personally have sent maybe 6 or 8 emails asking for responses, documents, anything without any response. So if there's a new procedure, we're happy to comply with it. We just don't know at this point how we're supposed to do that, and we foresee that down the line, once the eviction moratorium is lifted, there's going to be an inundation of requests and problems.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lawrence, for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you.
I apologize, I know I was supposed to talk during public comment, but this is Commissioner Tick Sagerblum. If you want to reach out to me, I'll make sure that you meet with Chad and figure this out.
So basically what he said, Ms. Lawrence, is that's Commissioner Segerbloom. He's a member of our Board of Commission. He said you can reach out to him and he will assist you in the reestablishing the communication and determine what has occurred that broke down the communication.
Great, thank you very much.
So feel free to connect with Mr. Segerbloom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hello there.
my name's Eileen Mully. I'm Jamestown Towers. The 16th was the 4th time that they heated my apartment for bed bugs. Oh my God, I'm sorry. The third time I went to the manager and I asked her if I could get another place, if they could put me somewhere else. And she said, that's your problem. So I didn't say anything. But I threw everything out. I threw the bed out, the coffee tables, the oak tables, everything, clothes, beds, everything I've thrown out. And the last 2 times they said it's in the bedboards. I told them about that. They're not listening to me. They won't take the bedboards off. They're in the walls now. Now they're talking about a neighbor in 114 that probably has them. All I want them to do is give me another place to live. This is 4 times I have health issues. I can't breathe right. I just want them to do something about this.
Thank you, Eileen. Yes.
Can you restate your name, please?
Eileen Mully. Miss Mully, what's your unit number there?
113.
113. Okay. Thank you, Miss Mully. And I'm so sorry. We can address that for sure. Good afternoon.
Hi, my name is Alicia LeBlanc Austin, Jamestown Tower. I would like to address of all the activity that goes on there. We need a substation there, if that's possible. We have a lot of drug activity goes on and prostitution, and a lot of people comes by and shakes our doors. A lot of people break in over there. A lot of seniors are afraid. I'm afraid. A lot of people here in the building are afraid. Also, they were supposed to change the locks. They have not changed the locks there in the apartment complex. It was informed to me, I've been there over a year, and the people that used to live there still have keys to my apartment. From my understanding, other people as well, and they have not changed the locks. So if you guys can consider a substation there for the police instead of having security there. If there's any way possible, if you guys can consider that a substation there. If you guys can consider that, if we can get a substation there. We do have a, what do they call that? A country store, but they're not using it. It's been there over a year, and they have not used the country store there. So if they could take the country store out and maybe put a substation in there and maybe don't have the security. We do have security there. But if you guys could consider it, maybe a substation there. Okay?
Thank you, Ms. Austin.
All right, thank you as well.
Hello there.
My name is Beverly Hannon, and I'm from Bennett Plaza. Number one, we need a manager. Okay? I've seen this lady once before, the coronavirus. We had one meeting. We've had nothing since that I know of. Hey, I've asked to be a 2-bedroom, large accommodation. I fill out the paperwork. They don't have a record. They sent the thing to the doctor sent it back, they don't have a record. Now, I'll be 80 years old, okay? And I need help. I went and got my daughter and brought her, okay? I was told that in June, I would get my Section 8. Now, I talked to her on the phone. She told me to come to Housing Authority and ask about it. I don't think that's my job. I think the manager is supposed to do it because they had us in a meeting out at Roberta Johnson and told us if we paid our rent, no late charges, that we would get a Section 8. This happened last year. Now that time has come and gone, and I'd just like to know what's happening. Okay?
What was your last name, Beverly?
Hannon, Hannon.
Hannon, okay.
Okay?
Okay, and you're at Bennett Plaza?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Beverly.
Okay?
Are there any other individuals that would like to speak during this public comment? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment. Once again, I really appreciate you joining us here this afternoon and spending time here at the Housing Authority. And we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you.